My next guest is Jay Timmons, the President and CEO of the National Association of Manufacturers. Jay, thanks for joining me. Jay, are you muted?
Man, you'd think after 20 months of this stuff, I'd figure out the mute button.
I just need to say, hey, Jay.
Monsieur le Chevalier, nice to see you.
Well, Jay, thanks for joining us and making do with our, pandemic-restricted situation. But with that in mind, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the challenges facing manufacturers right now, given the supply chain snarls, backlogs, everything else we've seen. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing manufacturers at this moment?
I think it all comes in together, right? And it's frankly, I think the biggest cause of the supply chain backlog, if you will. And that is the fact that we simply don't have enough workers in the sector. We have 900,000 open jobs in manufacturing today. That number is going to grow to it's going to grow to over 2 million unfilled jobs because we need to fill 4 million jobs by the end of this decade if we don't upskill and reskill our workforce to participate in the manufacturing economy. So that's what we're laser focused on right now.
So why do you think it is that manufacturers have had so much trouble filling these open jobs, especially considering how many jobs we lost at the outset of the pandemic?
So, it's not new. Before the pandemic, we had 500,000 open jobs. At the worst part of the pandemic, we only had 300,000 open jobs only. Today, again, it's 900,000. But, we're not the only sector that's fighting for talent. We're competing against other sectors. Now, I think the problem that has frankly vexed manufacturers for so many years, decades, in fact, is the fact that there is a perception problem about manufacturing jobs in this country. When you expose a young person to modern manufacturing and you show them the sleek, technology-driven jobs that are very rewarding and meaningful and life-changing and actually world-changing, they get pretty excited about it. We have a campaign right now that's called Creators Wanted. We're actually going into communities all across the country in a tractor trailer that opens to a triple wide. It's an escape room experience that allows young people, usually high school students, to kind of get a hands-on version or vision of what manufacturing is all about. And then after they come out, they see the jobs that are available in their community, and you can just see their eyes lighting up. But that's on us as manufacturers to make sure that young people understand what opportunities are available.
Now, with that in mind, how did the emergence of the Delta variant affect your ongoing campaign to get more folks involved in manufacturing?
Well, it certainly put our in-person experience on hold, as you might guess. But we did what everybody in the world is doing right now. We transitioned to a digital platform, and we were able actually, through our digital platform, to expose 6 million kids to modern manufacturing. When we go on the road and we do an in-person experience, we obviously can only tackle a few hundred at a time or bring in a few hundred at a time. So that was a big change. But frankly, we turned a challenge into an opportunity to allow us to recruit and attract more young people. We have other issues that are going on as well, and they're related to public policy. And those include the thinking by some elected officials that we should undo the positive gains that we made in tax policy from 2017. Back in 2017, when tax reform was being debated, manufacturers made some very specific promises. We said if we got those tools that we had been looking for about 3 decades, we would invest more in America, we would create more American jobs, and we would raise wages and benefits for American workers. We did exactly that. We had record investment, record job creation, and record wage growth in 2018 and 2019 following those tax reforms. So we don't want to see us return to the archaic tax policies of the past or anything that would drive up the cost of doing business here in America. We want to create jobs right here at home.
And speaking of the public policy changes, obviously right now there's a great deal of discussion and negotiation going on over the dual-track infrastructure package. I wanted to get your thoughts on what provisions there might be the most helpful to manufacturers, especially when we're talking about the supply chain issues and employment issues that we've seen so far.
So let's start with the basics. Let's de-link those two bills, and let's take infrastructure. Infrastructure was passed in the Senate in a bipartisan manner. It needs to pass the House so that we can show not only Americans, but actually the entire world that American democracy works. I think after January 6th, I think a lot of folks are very concerned about what is the direction of democracy in the world? Are we still a beacon and a light to other societies throughout the globe? I say yes. I believe in America. I believe in the promise of America. I believe that manufacturing is the engine of a strong and vital American economy. But there are some doubters right now because of what we went through earlier this year. We need to show the world that we can work, that we can govern, and that we can actually come together. We've done that on infrastructure. Reconciliation is an entirely different story, and it goes right back to those revenue raisers, tax increases, punitive measures on manufacturers and other businesses of all sizes that would set us back. We had, as I said, record investment, job creation, and wage growth after tax reform. I don't know why anyone would want to return to the days where we weren't investing as much in America, or we weren't creating jobs here, or when we weren't raising wages and benefits. So I'm a big believer that we can get infrastructure done. I'm very optimistic about that. And I know that there are some very important spending proposals in reconciliation, and those should be debated separately, but they should not come at the expense of America's business to provide for a strong and vital economy for our country.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, President Biden and the administration announced a series of steps a few weeks ago to try to handle some of these supply chain issues that we've seen so far, including making sure ports are running 24/7, getting all the big package carriers on board with that. Have manufacturers noticed any sort of relief so far, either because of these provisions or anything else that's happened to try to loosen supply chains up a little bit?
This is something I've seen from the Biden administration that I greatly admire. They see what they can do through the government lens, and then they encourage business to deal with the parts that business should deal with. I would include vaccines in that as well. They encouraged right from the start, they encouraged businesses to pick up the mantle of leadership and ensure that workers got vaccinated. We're doing that in manufacturing as best we can. Here at the NAM, we have a vaccine mandate. We have 100% compliance. And we believe that all businesses should do that. And we appreciate the leadership of the Biden administration to get the world vaccinated and make our communities healthy and safe. On the supply chain issue, they kind of had the same model. They said, well, look, we can kind of deal with the port issue. So let's start with that. Now, business, you've got to step in and also do your part as well. We have a shortage, as I already mentioned, of workers in the sector where we can't make enough product to get it out the door. But if we did, and we see this all over the country, we don't have enough, for instance, truckers to be able to deliver the goods that we manufacture. So whether it's coming off of a ship in Long Beach, or it's coming from a facility here in the United States that is manufacturing a component product for another manufacturer to make a finished product, we have a shortage of folks in transportation and logistics. So I go right back to our responsibility as the business community to motivate and inspire Americans to come into our industries, and then to reskill and upskill those who are already here so that we can be productive. It's a challenge, there's no doubt, but I know we're up to the task. It's not going to be overnight. I had somebody actually write to me because I had the National Association of Manufacturers, and they said, only you can save Christmas. Well, that's kind of a big burden to put on a trade association executive, but it's true. Christmas is going to be difficult. We're going to have some difficulties getting products out the door and getting them into homes for the next several months. But I do believe this bottleneck will start to ease, and we'll start to see some more certainty in the supply chain in the future.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck playing Santa Claus this year.
Thanks so much.